Epik Mellon podcast, conversations with the real humans behind broadband networks, cybersecurity, and the future of communications. Brought to you by QA Cafe.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Epik Mellon podcast, where we explore the human beings that you might not know about that make sure that all of your communications work. And I was going through the list, right? I was just like waxing philosophically about what it'll be like when I get to 100, like 100 episodes. I'm like, wow, that's 100 people that nobody knew are responsible for making sure that things go. And if and many of them, if they weren't there, things would not go.
It's amazing.
Right?
For sure.
I am here with Alexandre Martins from Automa Networks, and we've been working together for quite a while. And he's on the side of things that we are deeply involved in as well at QA Cafe, and that is the regular testing of broadband devices and networking equipment to make sure it does actually go.
Yeah.
And I want to say it's not boring. Like it sounds like if I were talking to just like anyone, like my family or whatever, it sounds like not very interesting, but like it is extraordinary.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. As always, this podcast is brought to you by my employers at QA Cafe, and so the views expressed by myself or Alexandre do not reflect those of QA Cafe or its ownership. And same goes for you. And it is brought to you by our three great products at QA Cafe. That is CD Router, the industry standard automation solution, test automation solution for broadband gateways, Wi-Fi devices, and other customer premises equipment, with thousands of pre-designed test cases built by the experts right out there. That works with your CI/CD systems to help you build better products overall. And Alexandre is very familiar with this.
Very.
Yeah. Also, CloudShark Enterprise, which is our enterprise-grade solution for packet analysis that incorporates Wireshark, Zeek, and Suricata into one platform that's easily deployed for a global organization and helps you organize and analyze and collaborate on all of your packet captures worldwide. And Packet Viewer, which is the power behind CloudShark that lets you embed web-based packet analysis into any cloud networking solution or cybersecurity product. All right.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the fast version.
Yes, but I started all my career in 1991 in data analysis. So I started there basically working with a protocol analyzer. This is my first job in the telecommunication area.
What were the protocols at the time?
BSC3 is IBM developed it in 80s. It's a character-based protocol, and they have two BSC is by-sync communication, because they have two SYN, like TCP SYN, but they have two SYNs together, SYN.
Uh-huh.
Okay, it's by-sync, yeah. And it's very, very funny because the protocol analyzer, they have a small screen. It's a phosphorus screen, which the technicians, they have the equipment on the rack, and they can see some special characters blinking. So one example is the NA case, non acknowledged. So when they saw that, says, "Wow, it's a problem," and they can store the traffic in a small magnetic tape.
Magnetic tape. Wow.
Yes, they rewind and see what's happening and try to discover the problem.
That's nuts. So was that the tool that you were using? Was it like specifically designed just for that protocol?
Yes, it's made by Wanda Golterman. It's a German company which does a lot of telecommunication
Are they still around?
tested. Well, when the Automa was changed the names, was purchased by other companies like TTC, GDSU. Now they have a name like a Viavi. I don't know if you heard about it.
Oh yeah,
Viavi.
yeah. Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So they change many times. So I have old friends working there that they told change the company sitting the same table 5 times. Yeah,
that's happened to friends of mine. I don't
yeah,
know if you've seen any of the episodes with Tim Spetz, but he's basically had the same job, but has worked for like 20 different companies
yeah, yeah,
because they
yeah,
just keep buying each other.
yeah, yeah. This is happening, and I started doing this data communication because everybody's side of the here the office in Brazil, they like it to analog stuff, and they are more familiar with analog stuff, like the
Really?
spectrum analyzers. That time, right? That
Right,
time.
right, right.
And the data communication is like a ugly duck, so no one wants to work with it.
It's funny because it's also the ugly duck on the other side of things, right? So
Yeah,
you go from the hardcore like electrical engineer level kinds of stuff to high level software development, and both of them hate networking.
yeah. Unfortunately, but the networking wants to make things to work together.
Hmm.
So I started there, and from this very old protocol, which use the RS-232 interfaces.
Yep, yep. That's
Up
serial
to
interface for those of you
yes,
who
the
don't know.
serial interfaces, but with all pins. Because today we work with DB9, that's just
Hmm.
receive, transmit, and that's it. It's asynchronous. But that time was synchronous. So I started there, and came other protocols like X25, HDLC, and they moved to another protocol analyzer called DA30. So we made a lot of troubleshootings using this protocol analyzer here.
Yeah, see,
So
so I remember that stuff because when I used to work at UNH at the interoperability laboratory, I ended up like falling into this weird role where if we had this weird tool that just came in, they'd be like, Jason, go figure it out. And it was
mm,
always like that, where it was like, and everybody obviously all had their own proprietary interface and all this stuff, right?
yeah, yes, yes. Yeah, the good thing is I learn a lot, because you see this
Yeah.
all these protocols came and go, and you understand how they works. And for example, the sequence numbers that we see in the TCP today is the same that the sequence number, and somehow you see I saw the in HDLC that time. So it's the same concepts
Right.
that you see in the protocols today, and I saw that time.
Yeah. No, that's super interesting because like just like being in protocol design, which I end up doing. It's like it's like you don't actually have to reinvent the wheel. Like a lot of problems have already been solved before, and a lot of problems have been propagated
Yeah.
into what we have now. But I was talking to I think two or three episodes ago,
Mm.
Chris Greer. He's like a Wireshark expert, right?
I saw
But
it.
he was saying the exact same thing, right? Where if you're in the depths of this and you know how to look at analyzers and stuff like that, in this case, Wireshark and packet captures, you understand how it works way better than you could any other way, right?
Exactly. It's like to understand a new language. Okay. So it's
Literally.
so amazing when you can hear someone talking and speaking another language, and you understand them, you can talk. So this is the same situation. And in that opportunity, and this equipment, the A30, was the first equipment which does benchmarking of a router. So we tested IPX. I don't know if you
Oh wow.
remember. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I only know of IPX because that's how I first played Warcraft.
Yeah. And used by Netwar, Novel Netwar. And we tested against IPv4. So the same router is a Cisco 2501, I believe. We tested in both protocols, and the IPX was way, way better than IPv4. So when IPv4 became the internet protocol, I said, we
You heard it here first.
regression. What's happening? And well, I understood. So it's IPX is cost. I believe that Novell has to pay something for Xerox. I don't remember.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and IPv4 is free, simple, and what is so. And all other protocols we saw, IPv6, MPOS, and all other protocols came to try to fix some problem in IPv4. Is that
Yeah.
rig?
Isn't that funny? And I also find it funny that like different organizations operating in a vacuum sometimes all tried to build different things to solve those things, right? So you have a lot of stuff that ends up getting solved at layer 2 for no reason, right? Right. And that was all the IEEE doing that versus the IETF solving things on the other side.
Yeah. Yes, and I saw the Aussie ISO Aussie protocols came, so very very complicated protocols, but I believe it's too democratic. When they try to build up, they ask to everybody
Hmm.
suggestions what to put inside, and the protocols became too big
Hmm.
and too expensive to do anything with it.
No,
So
it's hard. It's actually kind of a skill set that you have to have if you're the kind of person that wants to run a group that makes standards is to learn how to tell people no.
yeah, yeah. And this is one of the biggest problem today. I don't see enough people learning about the protocols, learning about networking today as we require.
Right.
We believe that with AI, everything will work mm, without human intervention, but I don't think so.
No, and
I,
it's not going to. And I've tried to like I'm glad you brought that up because that's like one of the things that I've been trying to harp on constantly on here is that's true, right? And you and I have talked about that before about how, you know, there's just a lot of the people coming into our industry are software developers, right? And they haven't learned about networking, right? And that's a problem,
Yes, a big problem.
right? So when they
Big.
I mean, and tell me about your experience in this, but when they start diving into this stuff, you know, they're effectively, no matter how much experience they've had on the other side, they're effectively totally green when it,
Yeah.
right?
And not only this, what I'm really concerned about it is to see the young guys don't seem to like these things because if you like something, you will learn. And nowadays, you have all the information available. If you want to learn anything, you have it for free. You don't need to pay. That time you need to pay a lot of money to do a training, to do
Oh yeah.
exactly. But now you can learn everything. It's available. It's free on the internet. And the people pass too much time in TikToks and whatever, and they don't like it. They don't want it. So this. I am a little bit upset with this, and we
Well,
need people to work with it.
yeah. Yeah, but ironically, it's ended up sort of filtering down to you, right? Because as you've said before, a lot of even the operators themselves don't have necessarily the people on their CPE teams
Yeah,
that know this stuff, right?
this is the point.
Yeah.
Yes, and this is causing for me, something that I don't understand. Look, talking about broadband, today the service providers have an ocean of data about their customers. They know in every house, every 3 hours, 4 hours, they know which devices are connected. If you are TVs, if you are mobile phones or whatever, and they can use this to sell things to the customers in a very focused way, create a more loyalty of the customers. But the service provider are doing, I don't like this word, but it's a kind of lazy way to say things. They just increase the speed for velocities that no one needed. Okay. And sometimes they bundle with some streaming, whatever, things that don't aggregate any value. And we still need a lot of features inside of the house. For example, firewall.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest problem today is our kids are navigating the internet, seeing things, and doing things that is not good. And we have the all technology to deliver inside of every home, a firewall to monitor, to block, to understand what's happening with your kids, and we are not using any.
Yeah.
So this is other point.
Right. So and so that's something that is dear to me because it's sort of the stuff that we've been working on a lot. About trying to not convince. I don't think convince is the right word. Operators don't need to be convinced that this is an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
We're even starting to get some survey feedback for a new survey that the Broadband Forum's doing, but also the one that we did before around those services, right? And one of the questions that was asked was sort of like, what are the biggest barriers to offering services like that? And the operators, the answers were along the lines of, like the biggest ones were just like the brain share of the sales teams, right, and the brain share of marketing, right. So like they just don't have the bandwidth to sell something other than bandwidth.
Yeah. And I don't know, just to have in mind, Brazil is the third country in the world in terms of broadband connections. We reached
Mm-hmm.
53 million home connected. Okay. We about 85% of all homes in the country connected in some way in broadband. So the service provider reaching the ceiling of sale for new customers. Now they try to catch the customers, existing customers, churn basically, and no one thinking about to sell um, other stuff using what they already have.
Yeah.
So bundle with, I don't know, security package, sale cameras to monitor your house or whatever.
Right.
But as you told, they don't have people to thinking about to create and package this in a product and sell properly to the customer and maintain
Right.
this. So
Right. So just to bring it back to sort of the CPE side though, like do you see it at least happening? So like it's the CPE are becoming more powerful. We know, right? And cheaper. Well, cheaper for the level of power that they
yeah,
right. Now that you're testing those kinds of things and working with operators deploying those kinds of things, is it harder, right? Like, are there more problems, or is it sort of like, is it just going in that direction no matter what?
Oh, well, since the beginning, I saw the CPE as the most complex device inside of any broadband. service providers. Because in that small box, I have one here, by the way. I have one here. In that small box, you have a GPON interface. It's an optical interface, which has their own protocol. You have a phone line. It's a analog, yes, adapter. They have a switch Ethernet. They do routing. It's firewall, and they have Wi-Fi. And not only is any Wi-Fi, have three-band Wi-Fi in some cases. Have three radios. So it's a lot of things that this small box have to do. And my understanding is a kind of visit card for the operators. Here in Brazil, the people don't talk about the residential users. They don't tell, the router. No, is the little box of the name, the provider, Vivo, Claro, Team, whatever. So this is really a product which, let's say, compress all the complexity of the networks. And it's increasing the complexity, increasing the speed. Yesterday we tested Wi-Fi 7, okay, up to 3, 5, 4 gigabits per second. So it's increasing the speed, and I don't see the service providers will take the advantage of what this little box can provide. And it's a problem of people, and this is why you need to automate to test all these features.
Yeah. And that's actually kind of my dream, is that one day soon it will actually be a product that the consumer thinks about as like their refrigerator, right?
Yeah,
Because it's literally responsible for every important thing that people do,
yeah,
right? Everything that you care about, usually in your house, like that's the most important device.
yes, no doubt about it. No doubt
It's
about
like I would almost say that your refrigerator is secondary.
No, but probably all connections of your refrigerator will pass through this device.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing, for example, it's about security. So now the houses have a smart lighting, for example. But the smart lighting, they have a firmware inside of every single bulb, and it goes to internet and probably goes to a website or some firmware repository, download something to work better or to
Completely
fix a problem.
independently. Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So imagine if some hack put a malicious code inside of this and convert your smart lightning things in a weapon to generate denial of service attacks
Mm-hmm.
against the country infrastructure, for example. And they have a bandwidth. Now they have a lot of bandwidth in every house. Imagine millions of houses generating traffic, okay, in IPv4, IPv6. That's very hard to block. And this can disrupt all the infrastructure of a country.
Yeah.
And the first line of defense should be the router inside of your house. In my understanding, they have to have a way to detect something weird happening and block right away before it becomes a national security problem.
Right. And there are some companies that are that work on that, right? Like F-Secure and those guys that are making, apps that can be installed on the gateway. And that's cool. But on the flip side of that, and this is the stuff that, you end up seeing if you're doing regular penetration testing, like the CPEs, like the router themselves also have a lot of security problems.
Lot of security. Lot. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't know. We are talking through the system by luck. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically this.
Yeah.
Okay, because there are a lot of flaws, and as we told in the beginning, the service providers don't have time to create a methodology to test the securities and so on, and these many things pass and are in the field, are in the operation, and I hope nothing bad happens. Yeah.
Right. Right. So in Brazil, how long? Because I've talked on the show. I've talked about how broadband gateways were consumer products first,
Mm.
right? The idea of the operator sending you one in the US, I mean, the idea of the operator sending you one that they approved of was never a thing when broadband first came out. You just got
No.
your modem. You got a
Mm.
modem and a hole in the wall, right? And you could plug one computer into it. And
Yeah,
if you wanted to get a router and spoof the MAC address, that was your business. But
exactly.
now that's not the case. What is it, in Brazil? Was it like that too, or are there any law? Because some countries have laws saying that the consumer has to be able to still buy their own router and all this stuff like that.
No, in Brazil it's the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, so they send the packet. The router came from the operator in most of cases. Okay, and since the beginning, so the router in your house is basically device that service operator is owner. They owner of it. So
Yeah.
and they are pulling out more and more features to the customer change something. Now you have routers that are really close to the customer. So if you want to change SSID or change the um, password, you have to contact a central office, and
Right.
they do this for you.
Which and hear me out, everybody. Everybody who's listening right now, hear me out. That's a good thing. And before you scream about that,
Mm.
remember that anyone who knows anything about how to change those things is like 0.1% of broadband customers out
Exactly.
there.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
No one else cares, nor should they care or have to care.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is why I think, for example, in a security file inside embedded of the router, maybe someone have to create profiles. Oh, you have kids. How years old? 14. Just press a button and it create a profile. Because if someone needs to go there and figure out, oh, I need to put in filter, URL, whatever, no one will do it. So,
No. Right.
yeah,
Right. No one will do it. And then it won't be there.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is a point. Yeah. So this is put this in the shadow here. We have a sunny
Uh,
day. Yeah.
It is. It's so beautiful
Yeah.
there. It's not
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not it's not
No.
here.
It's not- yes, it's fall. It's a little bit cold, 66 Fahrenheit, and for us it's cold. I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that for you it's hot.
Well, we experience in New England, we experience it differently, right? So if we experience cold in the fall, we're like, oh man, it's cold, right? But if we experience this same temperature in the springtime, we're like, oh, it's awesome. It's so warm.
Oh, 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 this is good. Yeah.
But I, I tried actually explaining to my daughter that because she watches Bluey a lot, right? The cartoon about how the summer in the southern hemisphere the seasons are all different, and she's like,
Mm.
it's like, why are they swimming in a pool when it's Christmas? And I'm like, well, the Earth is round, honey, and it's
Yeah.
tilted like this, and the sun's over here. Like,
Yeah. Yes.
uh, yeah. So it's the that broadband penetration number you were talking about is pretty cool. One of the things that I was talking about with Donovan Smith, and he actually does a little bit of what you do, but not so much on the testing side for operators in the Caribbean. He was saying that like the way they consume, like there's no that they consume almost everything through their phones, right?
Yeah.
That's their primary use case, and so the operators have to design everything around that.
Yeah.
In for the Brazilian operators, is it more specifically when it comes to like broadcast TV? Is it kind of have things shifted? Is there like a different trend than anywhere else, or is it just kind of sort of like, okay, here's our
No,
yeah,
it's the same. Everything goes to the mobile phones, and the only thing that people connect in a, let's say, permanent way is the TV and, for streaming, and everything else is mobile. Even the computers, the PCs, everything goes
oh
to
yeah,
Wi-Fi. Yes, I don't see
huh,
more cable connection inside of a house.
right,
Yes, so and we have here a lot of different sizes of houses. So some require mesh to connect every places. Other are very small. In big cities like São Paulo, the apartments are reducing the size, so you need to just put a small router there and you cover. This is another thing that the operators don't think about. They have one size fits all.
right,
But we tested different Wi-Fi routers, and we see that some are weak in terms of Wi-Fi, but they should keep them, and use these in small houses, small
right,
apartments. That is today is grow, grow and grow. The
right.
big apartments are reducing quantities, so you don't need to put a super power Wi-Fi router inside a small apartment, and you can let this to small to big
And it's
apartments.
probably worse if you do, right? So in
Yeah,
terms of like building materials, is it because I always give the Netherlands example because in the Netherlands they have a lot of like concrete buildings and there's actually like wire mesh in the walls.
yeah,
So it's like every
yes,
room is a Faraday cage.
yes, yes, exactly. This is why they
But
need to put a mesh everywhere to route the, the
but I
signal.
imagine that's probably different in the situation you're talking about. So if you do have a router that is too powerful, it's
Yeah,
going to end up making everyone's Wi-Fi worse, right?
yeah, exactly, exactly. Noisy everybody. It's a noisy neighbor, but yeah, yeah. This is another thing that the service providers could use this information which is inside of their database,
Hmm.
so they can verify that every house have neighbors doing noisy, and they can change band, they can change channels and make more to make work better.
And not for nothing, that's the advantage of,
Mhm.
protocols like TR69 and USP.
Yes,
You know,
yes, 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 and everything is there, but no one use it
yeah,
as should be. It's
right.
as I told you, data ocean. It's like to have a gold in your backyard and you don't dig it. You need to dig something
You
and
just
you,
let it sit there. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So the capacity of telemetry of TR69, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Everything, everything.
What do you think? Well, I mean, what do you think that the operators need to hear in order to know in order to start going down that route?
Yeah, here's the point: is I don't know. I again is is this difficult to have people inside of a marketing department in service providers and the operations department working together to use all this information that is gold, it's like gold, and transform this in a solution and products to have
Yeah.
better
Right.
connectivity. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
this is the point. So it's there. The
Yeah.
is everything. I look in Latin America. Almost every month, some operator call us asking to put a kind of probe, external probe, inside of the house to measure speed, to measure connectivity. And this doesn't make any
You're like,
sense.
you realize you already have that sitting right there.
Exactly, exactly. It's everything there with a lot of details. And you can see, not imagine if you have to buy probes and install in a house. It's a lot of cost. It's a lot of money. The
Hmm.
probe itself, truck roll to the house, and so on. So how many probes you want to? Oh, 30 probes. 30 probes. You have thousands and thousands of probes already connected. It's just grab the information.
Hmm.
That's it.
Hmm.
Maybe what you need to do is to test before your different routers, see if they are delivering the true, the reliable information, and that's it.
Hmm.
And use it
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
everything's there.
Yeah. It
So
really is.
you can see, you can pinpoint bottlenecks in every corner of the city, where you have router installed. So
Yeah. 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 That's cool. And I bet there's a lot of like weird, like I always give the anecdote of so when we decided to make this podcast, it was a couple of us. It was Joao, who works on a lot of purple stuff, and my buddy Paul Keeter from Dish. We were sitting in the bar when we were talking about making, and they were talking about their field experience, right? When they were field techs, and there was one example of this Wi-Fi for this customer that was always terrible and going down infrequently, and it turned out that the restaurant next door had like a faulty microwave. But that's the kind of thing that, like, imagine if you're in a really, really close quarters, right?
mm,
And like a lot of customers, and then there's this restaurant, and all these customers' Wi-Fi is going nuts everywhere. And then that's the kind of stuff that you could discover if you just
yeah,
looked at all this.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can avoid a lot of truck rolls. You can avoid a lot of customers upsets just using the information that you already have, and you can sell more things. For example, they know how many TVs you have in your house. If the TV is standard definition, high definition, they can sell for you a ultra high definition TV to you use this super duper speed that you are receiving your house from broadband connection. So everything's there. I don't know why. Well, I know why, but okay.
Well, no, but like I want to, as we're getting to the end here, I want to talk about that. It's like you do know why, and it's related to a lot of different things that you and I have talked about before, right? It's because this show is about the people, right? This is about the people behind networking,
Mm,
and it's like you and I have talked about. There's not a lot of people who know about that are getting into positions in service
yeah,
providers, right? And so like that's why. That's why.
yeah,
And that's at
yeah,
all levels, right? Because
yeah,
the weird thing about networking in our industry is that you can know about it
yeah,
even if you're a marketing person, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
And
But
so like what is it that you want to happen, especially even for the people that you end up working with and hiring, right? To see that transformation happen. Like what is that educational point that people need to have so that they can see the big picture, because that's really what this is networking is a big picture thing, right?
Yeah. Well, it's so as I gave classes, and it's weird. I believe that we need to start to in the beginning before everything, because after some point you don't change more the people, you know. I don't know. This is a very hard question.
Yeah,
What we need, what you do is to talking about it. This is
yeah,
what we are doing now.
yeah,
But again, this it's really hard to change the mind of the people. And I
yeah.
see side of service provider the silos, the marketing,
Oh yeah,
engineering, operation. They don't talk each other. Sometimes they hate each other. Any any idea which marketing came, the guy from operations cut, the guy from engineering cuts. They fight in the rooms, and
yeah.
this this is the point. Someone. Uh, this is why small companies here, small service providers, are going so well. You know, Brazil have 20,000 service providers.
20,000.
20,000 service providers. 20,000. So these 53 million connections, broadband connections, about 33 million is shared by 15 biggest, 15 service provider, the biggest service provider. The other 20 million is distributed by 1990 something operators. Okay, which basically they from their pocket, you know, a couple of guys work together, they put the money and they start to launch fiber, connect people, put the OLTs, BNGs, BRAS, and so on, start to make are by the one. Sometimes the same guy who install is the guy of the owner of the company, the same guy who do the maintenance. And for example, they go to a condominium, and they install all the fibers, they install all the routers, and they do everything there. Okay, so with this job, they connect everybody. Okay, and these guys pays attention, talk to the customer personally.
Right, because they can, right? Yeah,
Exactly. So this makes all the difference.
it's
And
true.
they have a very technical skills. They install Genie access. They start to interoperate with CRM and charge the customer. They do by themselves, just using YouTube videos or something like this. You know,
Right.
they purchase used gear, used routers, and connect everything and make everything work. So this service providers to me it's an example of success of
Right.
capitalism
It's
because
true, and it's happening in other places, right? Like so, like
yeah,
who did I have on? Brisk, in which is now just got bought by the company that was like just a little bit bigger than them, but not right
mm,
in the UK. Like they were small and they're doing exactly what you're saying, and they're and it's funny because this is sort of a two-sided thing where they are paying attention to customers in that way, and so they are getting great reviews. But then also because marketing is on board with the fact that that is happening, they're advertising the fact that the customers are happy, right? And they have this
yeah,
great story, right?
yeah, yeah, yes, and they deliver things to the customers. For example, some of are in a rural area and need to turn on water to I don't know to wash something or to their crops or whatever. And these guys goes there and sell IoT stuff to make this everything work. So they work very fast and they solve the situations very fast. So they are a perfect example how to do it. Okay, I don't know if they will survive because today everybody's sailing more speed for less money, and the RPU are reducing to these guys a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah,
It's like that is literally a formula for less average revenue per user.
yeah, and they probably will be purchased by big companies. Okay, that you lose all this effort, but okay, it's part of life. And but to me, they are the example how to bring to the customer solutions and
Right.
products that they really needed.
Right. Cool. Well, there is hope then.
Yes, yes, there is hope. We have a good, very good success cases here.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I could have you on again for another 45 minutes to talk just about CPE and CPE problems.
Yeah, and I have a
So
lot
maybe we'll
here.
do that.
But I'm friend from all CP manufacturers, so
You're right. We don't want to like
no,
we
no,
won't
no,
name we won't name
no,
names.
no, no,
All right. Thank you, sir.
no.
I
Thank
was I
you for the
was glad to have you
opportunity.
on. Absolutely. Anytime.
Okay,
So please do hit subscribe on this if you enjoyed what we were talking about today. And if you have any questions for Alexander, please put them in the comments below, and we'll get to them in turn, and that helps all our beautiful algorithms. And above all, own the nerdy things you love and have fun doing them. Thank you.
for sure. Thank you.